Chapter 1. Welcome to my hood. Man, it's hot out here. Another temperature record-breaking day in the Chi. That's Chicago for all you goofies out there. Better known as Chirac to us natives. A name we adopted after having a year with more killings than Iraq. A city where, at any time of the day, a bullet could fly by you like a hummingbird. And when night falls, bullet shells harmonize as they hit the ground, singing you to sleep like a lullaby. I'm out here with my crew from the organization, holding down the block, getting this street money. Just then, you could hear tires squealing from the black 745 BMW turning into the alley down the street, and then come to a screeching halt in the breezeway behind the house. The little homies jump off the stoop, cheering the car on like a crowd at a homecoming parade for the troops. It's just my little homie. We call him Heavy. When my mom got strung out on drugs and started leaving me home alone for days, his mom took me in. I slept on their couch for 2 years until I moved out on my own. She didn't like who I had become and couldn't handle me in her house anymore. It wasn't that I was a bad kid. I just wanted to do things my way. I was tired of the way I was living, so I started hustling. What else is a homeless, broke 15-year-old kid gonna do? Now, I'm 16 and the man. Things are limited where I'm from. Where I can go is mapped out by blocks, and rival gangs control the perimeters. I've always felt like I live in this little corner of a cage, and that it's the only place I can make money. We do what we have to here. It's called surviving. Heavy and I have been like brothers since we were kids. He's always had my back. We were both only shorties when we got plugged into the organization. Who knew at 8 years old we would be making a decision that would follow us for the rest of our lives? We call him Heavy because growing up, he was fat. But around 2 summers ago, he sprouted up 7 inches and slimmed down. Now he says his name is Heavy because his pockets are heavy with money and guns. He is second in command behind me and full-time security for the organization. When something or somebody needs to go down, he's the man to call. I guess you could say he's the muscle and I'm the brains. Our crew's tight. We have 20 gangsters under us. I teach them and quiz them on the organization laws often. I can't have any dummies working for me. That's what gets you killed. I have a favorite, though. We call him Lil J. I took him in as my little brother, looking out for him and schooling him to the game, the same way one of my dad's old friends named KD did for me. KD always taught me life was like growing up in a cage, so I always stayed in my lane. My cage. Who has time to think of things outside the cage when there are other lions in here trying to take your head off daily? I remember he said, when it's time to eat and the food's thrown in, it's first come, first served. If you want to eat, you better be quick and aggressive, or you'll go hungry and become weak. We'll talk more about KD later. Lil J lives with me. His story is similar to mine. His father was a well-known gangster, also from the same organization we belong to now. His pops got sent to prison for life when Lil J was just a baby. He was living with his grandmother because his mom got strung out on dope and was in and out of jail. Lil J is different from most of the guys. He's the quiet type and a thinker. He is always watching what's going on around him. That is, if he's not doing what he loves most, rapping. Everywhere you look, you see pieces of paper he wrote a hook or some lyrics on. I put some money into studio time for him. Heavy and I are going to pay for him to put out a mixtape. Who knows? He might be the next big star out of the Chi. I can see him going far in whatever he sets his mind to. That is, if he's lucky. We all have a better chance of getting killed or life in prison than having our dreams come true and making it out of the south side of Chicago alive. Around an hour ago, while I was sitting on the stoop, a woman tried to walk up to the house. My shorty stopped her. She looked bad. Nothing but skin and bones, dirty from top to bottom. I told them to let her through the iron gates that surrounded the yard. She came to the bottom of the steps. I walked down to meet her. She lifted her head up slowly. Her eyes were bloodshot and filled with tears. A steady stream flowed down her bony face. My heart wouldn't let me feel any emotion. I told myself she was just another crackhead junkie. I said to her, "What you want? I don't have nothing for you." With a low, crackling voice, she said, I don't want anything." She told me she had a dream that I got shot and died, and that I needed to leave Chicago. I looked up over her head, surveying my street corners. I said, "We all have to go sometime, Mom. The streets are all I got." She grabbed my hand. "God has something great for you, son. It's not too late." She let go of my hand, leaving a piece of paper in my palm, then turned and walked out of the yard. I went back up the steps. The homies asked me who she was. Starting out emotionless, watching her disappear around the corner, I said, "Nobody. Just some crackhead." Just then, Heavy emerged in the doorway buck naked, letting out a loud yawn like a bear coming out of hibernation and telling the rest of the animals in the wild that he had awoken. Everyone turned and looked at him. All the guys yelled, "Go put some clothes on." They all laughed. "Y'all just some haters." Then he turned and walked back in the house. We laugh a lot. It keeps us in the moment, helping to numb the reality of living this life of despair, because any day could be our last day here.